Now that we reviewed a little bit about the background of ancient Israel, I want to talk to you about the third king of Israel, who is Solomon, King Solomon, the son of David. King Solomon built the first temple, and this is very important to those of us who exist today in America. He built the first temple of God in Jerusalem. He dedicated, upon completion of construction, that temple to God, and he had all of the people gather around. And during this time, he not only dedicated the temple, as I said, but he dedicated the people to God as well. And the Lord told Solomon during this time, and you can read the Lord's words in the book of 2 Chronicles chapter 7 verse 14. The Lord told Solomon at this particular time that if this people fell into disobedience, or if they sinned against God, that they would have an escape, a way of escape. And the way of escape was that they should humble themselves, they should pray to God and seek his face and turn away from their wicked ways. And the Lord said that if they did this, he would heal their land. So this was a good time after this temple was completed, a time of dedication, a time of celebration. Yet Solomon and the Lord our God were realistic, knowing that these are human beings we're dealing with, just like you and I, and they may be inclined at some point in the future to sin. The Lord took care of that. He covered it by giving them a way of escape. And the Israelites still disobeyed. They disobeyed God on almost every point, and unfortunately, they had to suffer. Within 200 years of this dedication, the kingdom of Israel, the northern coastal area, was attacked by the brutal and evil Assyrian Empire. Though the attack did not go through the inner parts of Israel, the outskirts of Israel that were attacked brutally, so much so that the Israelites found themselves seeking shelter. They hid in and under everything they could find that would provide them safety and protection against their enemies. When the attack was over, the Assyrians left and the Israelites came out from hiding. Surveying the carnage, the Israelites looked to their leadership for encouragement, for hope, as anyone would. And you can find the encouragement provided them by their leadership in the 9th chapter of Isaiah, verse 10. And what they said, and I'm paraphrasing, is that, well, as we can see, the bricks have fallen down and the trees have been uprooted, but we're going to replace our bricks with stronger stones, and we're going to replace our sycamore trees with stronger cedar trees. And this encouraged the people, and they went on their merry way and they started to rebuild. The Lord God, however, and you can see his words on what I'm about to speak on a few verses later. That's Isaiah chapter 9 verse 13. He thought the words of the Israelites at this time were prideful and arrogant and not in line with what he had told them to do. If you recall, the Israelites were instructed by God that whenever they would fall into sin, to seek him, to humble themselves and turn away from their sin and pray. And that way he would restore them. However, in this case, they did not do that. The Assyrians attacked them. It was God releasing the Assyrians to conduct the attack because they had fallen into deep, deep sin. So in Isaiah chapter 9 verse 13, the Lord was not impressed with their resolve to rebuild. The Lord God said, this people has not turned to me because I'm the one who struck them, nor do they seek me. Therefore, I will have to cut off head and tail from Israel, for their leaders caused them to err. And even after this, they failed to heed to the words of the prophet Isaiah, whom the Lord spoke through. And 10 years later, Israel and many of his people were completely destroyed in a second attack from the Assyrians. And eventually, the temple itself was destroyed. Why? All because Israel refused to humble themselves, pray, and turn from their wicked ways, as is stated in 2 Chronicles 7:14. And this is important for us to remember.